Today, I interviewed an AI founder who has a history of helping out other founders.
Supporting and consulting, and that's when I started without, kind of knowing that I was doing consulting. But
Now, a question I've never asked before is how do you manage startup life with your home life?
a newborn at the time, and there was a lot of stuff going on, etc. So being outside of the house was uh, something that I didn't want to do as often. So
And of course, I had to ask for his number one advice for startup founders.
you're not getting enough outside criticism.
My name's Haroon Nota, and welcome to the AI Founder Series.
Amin, how's it going? It's great to have you on today. Seriously.
It's good to be on. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, of course. I just want to real quickly go over Believ AI real quickly. What is that? And just what is it? And how did you get to being a co-founder at Believ?
Yeah, Believe is a platform. What it does is, in I would say, just from like a process perspective, we help verify businesses and owners and help them be able to transact in more in the digital environment slash provide that digitization opportunity for businesses that want to go about verification and digitize that process, that with their customers.
Interesting. And how do you implement AI within that?
Um, So the implementation of AI is kind of sprinkled in within the platform. So I would say, like, starting Believe has come about from my kind of sparking into AI via doing digitization projects. I was right before COVID, and then throughout COVID, was able to scale up a team that focused on being able to help AI get ready. So from a perspective of making sure that if they were to implement some automation, that they would have the right data sets to be able to do so. That was where I got into AI. And then kind of what we gravitated towards was towards like identity verification and verifying IDs, people, Haroon verifying you against all the other accounts that you're probably set up in. Um, and then bringing all that in some unification so that if you were a lender that wanted to lend on influence, or if you wanted to lend on um, meme coins or NFTs, if you had that as like hey, I have like 25 NFTs, like, can I get a loan against that? Getting you verified to be able to do that is a lift. So that's what our kind of business does. And again, on the identification side, that's kind of how Believe then came about, is to be able to then give a platform that has connectors to different verification modules, and then it unifies how you then verify Haroon, his business, his adverse media, etc. Pieces. But then we sprinkle on AI as a part of like how we grab the information. Like we have AI agents that pull a lot of stuff. We also have like AI enrichment on the business profile. So we will run like a dip check against BBB, Yelp, to be able to test, like be able to make sure that those businesses are, like not fraudulent, or someone hasn't said like, oh yeah, they never refunded me, etc. Those make a difference for banks and payment services to be able to know that information preemptively, um, as they, offer those payment services to that business. So yeah, kind of like at least you had asked that question before, so I was just trying to keep in mind to make sure I answer that.
No, yeah, I get it. But what inspired you also to start Believe? Like, was there a moment that you were just like, all right, I have to get on this and people need this?
Yeah, good question. So when we were doing consulting with a crypto exchange here that's based out of Atlanta, we saw that as we were doing identity verification for them, we saw that business verification was still very strenuous, uh, time extensive, and basically involved a lot of labor, because it's really hard to be able to get, a retailer or a shop that would want to accept crypto, but making sure that that shop is not also a money laundering business, etc. Right? So we asked a lot of good questions around how to do that process, because we wanted to be able to sell more into what we were doing for them. And through that process, we kind of just had a spark where we were saying that, oh, why not unify this? We kind of understood where the market was from like a modular perspective, like something we could. There's platforms that can just identify you. There's platforms that can just identify businesses robustly, etc. We saw that unifying that and putting together like an agentic workflow, that AI piece, right, thoughtfully, would be impactful. And then we went on that journey. We kind of bootstrapped. We were in stealth for probably about a year and a half, close to 2 years before we launched the product, and we launched with a paying customer, and that's why it was the reason we're like, hey, now we have a customer. It makes sense to launch and use whatever we were getting at the time towards. We're still bootstrapped, but towards marketing, etc. So that's kind of where the spark was within a project, and within that project we saw that there was an opportunity to build something, and then we kind of went through a good bit of time of validation, advisory, acceleration, to really get us to where we are.
This episode is sponsored by Blackfire Cyber Insurance. The fact is, you not only need cybersecurity to protect yourself from hackings and breaches, but you also need cyber insurance to protect yourself financially from the aftermath of the breach. And if you're interested in protecting your business financially from a cyber attack, go to blackfirecyberinsurance.com today for a free quote.
What's it like being in stealth mode at an AI startup like this? Like, is it just like, is it like shady, or like, how does it feel to be in stealth mode, really?
Yeah, good question. It's yeah, it's hard for someone like me that wants to be able to I guess maybe not. Maybe I guess what I enjoyed about being in stealth is just the inquisitiveness of being in the market and asking questions and getting support on like what we were building. We thought that that was a uh for us a cool way that, hey, we kind of could mention, that, hey, we were right now doing something. We would vaguely talk about it. At the time we were building it, but we didn't have an articulation of it, right? Because we knew what we were solving at the immediate moment, but we knew that we had to really think about what a 5 year, 6 year strategy would look like against all pieces of that business. So the inquisitiveness, I think was really cool during the stealth uh, piece of it. But and then getting folks, I think, in like really involved. It was that piece of it, I think, made it harder, because it was very vague in terms of what we were doing, and they didn't see that we were really live and doing anything. They saw kind of something, and but they didn't see that we were kind of in market with things like that. But we were developing assets, and we had one pages, but people had to like nowadays everyone has to go online and be able to find you, right? So that, I think, kind of was the downside of being in stealth, but just the, I guess, inquisitiveness, being in the market around where we wanted to hang out, and then just the kind of exploration. In my phase of life, that was kind of, it was difficult. I was just I had a newborn at the time, and there was a lot of stuff going on, etc. So being outside of the house was uh, something that I didn't want to do as often. So, but it was something that needed to be done. But that piece of it was, I think, the top part of being in stealth.
Interesting. Now, I want to rewind all the way back now from when you were right out of college. What major did you majored in science, right?
In communications and marketing.
Science and communication?
No, no, just communications and marketing. No science. I'm nothing. And my wife is in science. I am not. I'm in marketing technology. And
Oh,
anything,
okay.
nothing in science.
Got it. Well, straight out of college, you immediately you were an account manager at the American Marketing Association. Then for 11 years, still now, you're at TI Atlanta. And I mean, the list just goes on and on with what you do. Intellekt AI, you're still there. You're a Atlanta chairperson at TI Global.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to explain to me your history. How do you go from an American, how do you go as from a account manager to now a from being a co-founder and from leading multiple companies? What's that like, and how does it start?
Yeah. My LinkedIn is not as up to date as I'd like it to be, but My kind of rooting was in when I was building my own startup. Had a short stint in building that and failing at that, but then got into uh, supporting and consulting, and that's when I started without, kind of knowing that I was doing consulting, but was helping startups at the time with just go to market strategy. And that is where I was working kind of like at American Marketing Association, and I was still doing kind of gigs with startups and doing go to market with startups. Um, I would say as soon as during that time when I was doing that, I had the opportunity to get introduced to Thai Atlanta, which is a global like entrepreneurship nonprofit. They focus on providing resources for entrepreneurs, like capital, mentorship, advisory, globally. They have a very active chapter in Atlanta. I got myself involved in that because as in, kind of just I became a mentor, and then I started like being just, just asking the right questions and kind of raising my hand. I had, my consulting going on. I thought it was beneficial for me to, get consulting opportunities with startups, like really just helping startups that were, kind of getting to from 0 to 100. That's kind of where I kind of would play way extremely well, and thought that Thai would be a great opportunity for me to just kind of be around. And funny enough, I then, because of just raising hands and truly being passionate about I think I learned a lot from just understanding entrepreneurship through multiple lenses, and I wanted to be able to have that be accessible for a lot of other folks as well. So the Tide mission like really resonated with me, and then I just rose my hand enough to the point where they're like, hey, why don't you come on as a consultant and become our executive director? So then I led the organization. I did that, and I was also, working on my consulting practice. Really, I had the time, right? I was busy, and I wanted to stay busy, so was able to work really on nonprofit, raising capital there, helping launch an angel program there. I currently now have taken a little bit more of a backseat because I've been more involved with Believe now, but I'm still on record, as you can see, still on record as the executive director. That's a nonprofit gig for me that I do now. I'm on the board. I'm just like a strategic advisor, et cetera, for the organization. And but I lead the high school program that's within the organization, which is what you see the high school co-chair thing for, where that is something that is again nonprofit, but I lead a program where focus on um, providing education for entrepreneur or high schoolers, like just giving them the lens of entrepreneurship through like a business plan competition. So facilitate that from October till April. Um, and then yeah, I've been involved in like doing. I've started a capital group that provides a capital access for minority and female-led founders, again, it's just something that I helped found. I'm not as active with it. I do attend all their events, and if I see any opportunity of connection, like startups that are looking for capital, these are like revenue generating founders, but they don't have access to capital. So me and four other or five other folks started this kind of group where we started raising capital and started recruiting companies and put those founders underneath that kind of, again, that has its own thing, but uh you know and then Intellekt is my services business, and that's like my consulting arm. But yeah, I do stay busy, and then I have, kind of home life, faith life, family life, all that stuff balance that goes on too. But I'm blessed to have the opportunity to stay busy, and involved. Like I do fill up the week. The high school stuff is on the weekends. The Thai stuff is just networking that I'm able to get involved in, and I do stay busy with Believe and Intellekt.
Awesome. It's such a crazy extensive history, and I like what you said about I like that I'm busy. And it's like being busy is one of the biggest opportunities you can have because you never know what you're gonna fall into. Because you have so many things planned out and you do all of them and you're like, wow, this is what I was able to do then. And you're just able to meet new people by staying busy. I've just noticed that. And it's honestly
True.
amazing. And one question I do have for you is this: you've been in consulting for so long, and you've been heavily involved with business management, and you're now and now you're a co-founder. What would be your number one advice for people founding a company?
Everybody knows that they need AI in their business, but no one knows how to implement AI nor where to implement AI. And that is where WizAgents comes in. We provide consulting and bespoke AI architecture for your business. Just email hello@wizagents.ai and visit our website wizagents.ai for more information.
Yeah. Um, uh, Try to look up as often as you can. I think when you are down building so much, you often forget to look up, and see what's around you, because life will pass you by. And there's kind of like a balance that you should keep to, but by looking up you're able to stay involved in activities. There is a moment where as founder you kind of think like, oh, I need to focus on so much of my solution, kind of my go to market strategy. I got to hit up my my pipeline list, etc. And that, I think, puts you in a spiral effect where you're not getting enough outside criticism. That gives you a good blend of ways to think, right? So get like a marketing perspective on what you're doing. So go attend a marketing association event, and have a couple of conversations with those folks. Go to a compliance oriented, if you're in the compliance space, like if your product, like my space has compliance, like I go to compliance adjacent events if I can, seeing if there's anybody that I could meet there, or if there's topics that I could be just informed on by experts, and then know that those experts exist. So yeah, I would say the number one advice is just look up as often as you can. I know folks sometimes get so tied up in looking down, and figuratively speaking, just yeah, it's people can get trapped in that. But anyways, yeah, I think that would be the number one advice.
Interesting. Wow. Looking up and getting criticism. I didn't think about that. You hear everyone just says, "Oh, get it done," but no one says get criticism. And I like
Yeah,
that perspective. It's something new.
yeah,
N-
yeah.
Now,
No,
no, yeah, you were saying.
I was gonna say that when you get down, when you're just focused on only what you are like building against, or just being around just your own kind of bubble, then it doesn't help you kind of expand on all the other attributes that you may be missing out on. So that could be outside capital, that could be industry, that could be so many other things. But anyways, I think you get it.
Interesting. And throughout all this time from your history, what would you say was your proudest moment or like your biggest win?
I think uh having a daughter through all of building something, uh I think that's been the I think the true kind of, I think I would say, gift piece of it, just that having her be around, and her to motivate me, etc., has been just that's been, I think, nice.
How's it like managing your like home life, which is now busy, and your like work life? How is that like working?
Yeah, make them like blend them in together. I was a judge for a pitch competition this past weekend, and I just brought them with me. There was lunch that was there. It was at Georgia State University, and I was like, "Hey, just come. We'll make an afternoon of it." It was like a 3 hour kind of judging thing, and then we came early, had some snacks. She While I was judging, she was just hanging out. My wife was hanging out with my daughter, and then they were just so try to, I would say, just try to blend them in as much as you can, and then look for those opportunities to be able to do so. I'm not shy of involving my daughter, and knowing that she exists in my life, and if she's going to come on, she's not going to come on screen right now because she's eating, but if she comes in, it is what it is. um but yeah, that's been, I think some just a thought process that I've had to kind of just look at things, right? Because stuff does happen. But yeah, so stuff happens. I've had my laptop kind of like closed because she's closed it, and then she's gone to sleep while I was on a meeting. So there's stuff like that. So it's all good. And, yeah, it
Awesome.
is. Yeah, just staying busy and having your family also kind of participate in the busyness is, but do make the time. Like, set some time outside for yourself. Don't always I'd say it's like work hard, play hard. Obviously, right? You probably have heard that many a times, but keeping a good balance between that for sure.
Interesting. I love that you're not like, "Oh, this is home life. No, this is business life." No. They're one and the same for me because that's your life at the end of the day. So it's like that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, for sure. No, I resonate with that.
Interesting. Now, you started Believe 1 year ago, a little over a year ago. Where
Mhm.
do you see Believe, let's say, in the next 2, 3 years?
I think, hopefully we will be an industry tool that would be effective and delivering on kind of what we promise on the verification side. I also see us like being into new markets as well. We think gamble tech and also uh, um, lend tech being some significant opportunities outside of payments, which is the current industry that we're in. But seeing more, I would say, opportunities with growth in those two areas. And I think at the end of the day, yeah, it'd be great to have like an M&A activity in 6, 7, 8 years, based on just our continued work. My personal passion aligns with just continue to educate and provide resources for all types of entrepreneurs. I do have a soft spot for high schoolers and having them get the lens of entrepreneurship and be able to then implement it. So hopefully, as everything that's happening, I will gravitate towards that. Which I'm hoping that all the stuff that I'm doing with Thai high school today will continue to just to grow, and it'll be something that I can then kind of say that, hey, this is something that I know I did, and something that's my passion, something that will give me kind of like full value of life, I would say.
I love that. Now, we are starting to run out of time, so let's hit the rapid fire. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right. Claude or ChatGPT?
Claude.
Do you use Cowork?
No.
Oh my God, it's a life changer.
Oh, really? Okay, not yet.
Yeah, it controls your screen if you use Google Chrome, and it's like it made me switch from Edge to Chrome, so it's honestly
Really? I'm on
incredible.
Chrome. I'm on Chrome already. I have a Chromebook.
All right, well, you got to hop on.
Okay.
Do you like working from an office or do you like to work anywhere from the world?
Anywhere from the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's your like favorite place to work? Like, have you been somewhere and you're just like, I can stay here for hours and just
Yeah.
crush
Anywhere
on
near
work?
water. Yeah. Anywhere near water, a beach, coastline, would be beautiful. I could sit like in San Diego, La Jolla, um, Chicago near the lake. All of it, just being near water is always so therapeutic. I could work there for hours. So yeah, I definitely enjoy going to places and checking out coffee shops and getting a sense of like the area that I'm in.
I love that. Do you like to wake up to an alarm or do you like to wake up just anytime you happen to wake up?
No, I like waking up to an alarm, but not like a physical, not like like a sound alarm, but it's something different. It's kind of like uh, it's like a bed that kind of wakes you up per se.
Really?
But yeah,
That's
it's
a
called the
thing?
eight. Yeah, it's the eight sleep. It's cool. It's a cool little device. It like
Really?
helps you cool or warm or yeah, it's good for yeah, it's interesting. We can always have a conversation about it. I'm a techie. And recently last I would say 5, 6 years I've been investing a lot more into health tech. We can always have a different conversation around all the health tech stuff that I enjoy getting to use, and some of them are effective.
Of course. Do you like to, when you have a task at hand, do you like to just absolutely hammer it out until it's done? Or do you like to take breaks and segment the work?
Segment the work, take breaks.
Interesting. I've had a lot of people say they like to just haul it out, but you're saying segmented. Why?
It just depends on the type of, like, for me, just organizing my thoughts against different places that I'm in makes it very different. Like I'm not gonna immediately understand something, or I'm not gonna, depending on what it is. Some of it you can hammer out if it's quick, but something that I know will affect like overall strategy, or will have subsequent effects. I can pretty much understand that if someone's talking like, hey, well, what's going to be the subsequent effect of it? But based on that, it just, yeah, I and I'm involved in more conversations where my it's something that I can work towards and give better thought leadership against. So yeah, I think over time, I think things ripen better.
Interesting. Now, do you like to drink energy drinks or coffee?
Oh yeah, definitely no energy drinks. Coffee, but I've cut back a lot. I only do like 3 coffee cups a week, which is very
A
sad for me.
week?
But yeah, 3 coffee
Oh
cups
my
a week.
God. I do 2 a day, bro. I
Yeah,
cannot.
I
Oh my
know. Yeah, you can't. No, you can't do 2 a day. You gotta come back, man. Caffeine is very, very addictive, and caffeine can it really rewires your body. And getting out of caffeine also rewires your body, which is what I went through. I went through a 4 day of just like torment, almost 5 days, and then finally then got to the point where I'm like, okay, I need to control the amount of caffeine. So I now do some matcha. I'll do tea. I do some sort of caffeine every single day, but it's mostly teas, matchas, and then I'll get to enjoy either in meetings or if I know I have planned out the week. I make coffee at home, so I'll have get to enjoy like a nice latte at home. But yeah, three times a week, maybe four. But yeah, maximum, 3 to 4 times a week is when I'll have coffee.
Interesting. I hear this while I have
Yeah,
one right now on my desk.
I know, but hey, it's you can afford it now. You're young, but you double check it, man. It's not. I don't know.
For
Just double
sure.
check it. I don't want to just
Yeah.
double check.
Yeah, no, I know I'll have to slow down at some point. Now, the
Sure.
last and most important question that we have had guests get wrong before. Cereal before the milk or milk before the cereal?
Oh, cereal before the milk or milk before the cereal. Cereal before the milk.
There you go. Everyone, I'm in. Thank you so much for hopping on today's episode, and you got the question right. Everyone, check out his links. They're all going to be in the bio, his LinkedIn and all the company websites. They'll all be there, all the nonprofits. Thank you so much for hopping on today and having this discussion. I think we learned a lot, and I think a lot of people are going to use your advice for sure.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate the time. Good luck.
Of course, take care.